Welcome to my podcast, The Laura Dowling Experience. Many of you will know me from my Instagram page at Fabulous Pharmacist, where I love to shine a light on topics that people normally shy away from. Today I spoke with Emma Doran. Emma is a comedian and all-round amazing lady. We had a great chat about her life, her work as a comedian, and her massive head. To support the Laura Dowling Experience, please check out my sponsors in the podcast notes below. Enjoy the show. Emma, thanks for joining me today
Thanks
for the
for having me. I've been treated fantastically. Lovely cup of tea, buns.
I know. See, that was my thing.
Lovely. I hadn't had
If you're
breakfast.
inviting
so I was
someone
like,
over,
yes.
If you're inviting someone over, have the home cooked buns made by Mammy, by the way, not
Yeah,
by me.
very nice.
She's famous for her buns in our family, and my kids love it too. So, yeah, warm you up with buns and tea, and then get into the hard questions and make you feel really uncomfortable. Then
No, it was lovely. It was lovely. So I'm delighted to be here.
It's great to have
Thanks
you.
for having me.
Yeah, I reached out to you because obviously I'm a massive fan of your sketches on your Instagram and your TikTok.
Are you? I'm going to go back through my Instagram now and see.
Have I liked any of it?
Comments.
Oh, right.
I think yeah. Like, I mean, I know you have, but I'll go back and see when the first one was, and we'll track.
Then we'll track
how interested you have been in me. Yeah? Or did you just start liking stuff again? You're like, I must message that bitch off Instagram. I'll try a few fucking likes now before I do that.
Actually, if you do go back, you'll see that I was going through you last night just to see was there anything I could ask you about today. And I did like a few older ones, so now I've been caught rapid. So.
Okay, yeah. No, I'll go and do my research now, post podcast, and see.
I feel now I've been caught out. Usually I'm on the front foot rather than the back foot.
No, it's the person who. No, I've no issue. It's only, and I've no issue with this either. But it just makes me chuckle. You know, the person that follows you and then messages you to come and do something for them.
Yeah.
It's like, you didn't even know me. Yeah. But I'll still respond saying, I'd love to.
Yeah, I know.
But, like, I'm not having a dig. I'm just like, that one makes me laugh.
No, I know.
So no, you're fine. You're fine. My trousers now is really annoying.
Your trousers are lovely. For anyone just listening, she's wearing a lovely pair of bright purple trousers and a blue shirt.
It's a bit Joker.
No, it looks great. I like that.
I'm getting Halloweeny kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
And Emma's definitely smaller than she looks online. So I thought Emma was probably around the same height as me, which is about 5'8", but she's a little shorty.
Yeah, 5'2".
And she's wearing palladium shoes as well.
I'm wearing like kind of, I suppose, Emma Bunton Spice Girls kind of ish. Well, not that big, but yeah, they've definitely given me
they've got the Spice Girls vibe.
Yeah, everyone says that to me, how small I am.
Yeah, no, I was shocked. It's funny because you know that you perceive someone, but I get that too. Some people say to me that they think that I'm bigger.
I thought you were taller. I thought you were going to be towering over me.
Okay.
But what I think is going on with me, so I think now, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but I think you look elegant, right? So I think that you are tall. Like 5'8" is still tall in my world.
Yeah.
But why people think I'm taller than I am is because, now you look at me as a medical professional, right? I know you can see it now and I don't even have to say, I have a giant head. I have a giant spud head. I have a scrotum farad. Do you see that? Look at all, like there is no need for all of this face. There's so much face here. My head is gigantic.
Do you know what? I didn't look.
I'll let you feel my skull after.
What is it because? Is it because you've so much hair that I can't see that? I think if you were wearing a ponytail.
Yeah. Like
I can see it now. You do have a massive head.
That's dense skull. So I think that's why people think I'm taller, because they're like, surely that head would not be on a little midget woman. You're like, no, it is.
So you're like one of those bobbly things that, you know, in the back of the car.
Yeah, it's a wonder how
head.
because I was like, I'm quite clumsy, but I'd heard that shorter people should be less clumsy because they have a lower centre of gravity. But I was like, it must be the head that's weighing me down.
Now
I didn't walk till I was 3.
I didn't
walk. No, I'm only joking. That's a joke. I just like the head, just like, but that's what it is. It's a giant head.
Now that I'm looking at you, though, I can't unsee that now.
It's a big
have brought it to my attention.
I know.
Did the doctor say anything to your mother when you were born?
No, I mean, Jesus, God love
like that and they'll think there was something wrong with you, maybe.
We all have big heads. I think, like, my dad has a big head and my mum. So it's a thing. And my lovely partner, Shane, minuscule head.
Oh, a little pea head.
Yeah.
Is that directly correlated to the size of his brain as well, though?
I thought you were going to say something else. No, I don't know. He just has, he's a small head family.
Okay.
You know, They just have small.
So your
heads.
kids medium-sized heads then?
No, 2 have big heads like me, and then there's another that kind of has a mixture head.
You're making your children out to be so attractive.
No, but I can see they have my big head.
Yeah.
I can see it in them.
But there's nothing wrong with it because big head, big brain, I think that...
Never, I've hit it so many times. No stitches, nothing.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's
right.
solid. Yeah. It's like a mahogany skull or something. So that's me. Giant head. Yes, I don't know why I got onto that. Okay.
So how did you get into comedy? Tell me about all that, because I find it really interesting because, when did you first know that you were funny? Were you making people roll over laughing when you were 3 or something? Or,
Well, I like funny, I think, most people like funny family. I have 2 older brothers. So I think a lot of the time the youngest in the family is funny.
Yeah.
Because they are trying to diffuse situations because they just want everyone to be happy all the time.
Oh, I can think of that actually now.
Yeah.
In my own little family, my little one is actually the funniest.
Yeah, because they want to diffuse everything and they want everyone, the way little kids want everyone to hang out. And they don't really understand, like when they're small, why aren't we all just sleeping in one big bed together all the time? I'm just saying, no, we're not going to do that. So I was kind of one of those kids. I was quite quiet as a child. I delayed speech. I'm turning this into a fucking therapy session.
I have that effect on people. You're going to tell me your deepest, darkest secrets soon.
So I think, yes, and I had a crazy laugh as a child. So that was the first thing in school, people laughing at my laugh.
Okay.
Which I didn't mind because I know a lot of people, if someone laughs at your laugh, that's like, oh, that's a very... it makes them feel awkward or whatever.
Oh, really?
I loved it. I was like, give me
Love
more.
being the centre of attention.
Yeah.
I'll make my laugh funnier if you want it to be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, no, I think I was always kind of leaning towards the funny in school and whatever. But I never thought that like comedy or anything like that was a job or a career or.
Yeah.
I never, even people that did like drama in primary school, I was like, oh, I wish I. Like, they were part of a drama club outside of school. I was just like, I've left it too late. I'm not part of...
So you didn't do any of that?
No.
Stuff? You weren't in Billy Barry's then, no?
No, because I was like, I don't... I thought you had to be kind of... It was like... They were particular types of families.
Yeah.
Like the drama families and that the kids could like hip hop dance and stuff.
Okay.
And all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a particular type of family.
Yeah, okay.
Or we don't, they know somebody. They're in the know. That's what I thought. And I was like, I'm not in the know.
Okay.
And first, like my mom and dad would like, anything I wanted to do, they would bring me to any old shite. And when I was older, I did do drama for like about a year before I got preggo. But like if I'd look it up in the yellow pages and I was like, I'm going to go here. And they'd be like, okay.
Okay.
So they were very like supportive with any old
thing.
crap I was. Yeah.
And did you try and do dancing at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the year, yeah.
Okay.
So...
Were you good at it?
No, I think I'm a deadly dancer.
Okay.
Just don't give me a routine that involves hands and legs. We'll do one or the other. We're not doing both.
You've reminded me actually when I was a kid. So I did love dancing when I was a kid and acting and all that kind of stuff. And I used to, the mortification now when I think about it, I used to make up my own dance routines and make my mum and dad and my brothers and my sisters sit down on the couch and watch me perform.
Oh, yeah.
And they still slag me about it to this day. So I put on like Rhythm is a Dancer.
Yes.
Be like,
yes.
The 90s version of twerking. I'd be doing that.
Oh, yes.
That's just something that's just come back to me recently. My sister would often slag me about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, hello.
I know.
Sister
but that's
right here. That's what I'd be up to. Now, I don't think I would have been doing it in front of... As I got older, I would have maybe sang in front of them and stuff. And then as I got older, I would have like not. But I definitely went over to friends' houses and sang for their parents and stuff.
Okay, so you sing as well?
Well, no. I don't sing.
Okay. So
I used to do an impression of Elvis for one of my friends when I was a kid.
Okay.
Like, because her mom and dad, I just felt like her family, she'd a younger sister and that was it. So I felt, they seem to be getting a kick out of this. Like, I'll do this for them.
Okay.
But I would always be, even as a kid and even now, I'd be always singing and dancing. Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
I remember
would.
another moment that sticks out in my head. I begged the choir, so I was in the school choir, and I begged the lady in the choir to let me sing at Sunday Mass, because it was always the best singers that could sing at Sunday Mass.
Yeah.
And she eventually gave me one, and it was awful. And I never forget my dad and my brother coming up for communion, and I just started singing, and it was completely off key. Like I was like, ooh, and my brother and dad burst out laughing, walking up for communion, and I was standing there. It was horrific.
Was it really like high pitched?
It was really high pitched.
Yeah.
I was totally. Oh, it was just.
It's always
never
high
again.
pitched, and yeah, sure. I was in the choir. I know all about it.
I was never asked again to do another solo, but anyway, that was
Really?
yeah. That was my brush with soloism, and
Yes.
then after that, never
You
again.
see, I wouldn't have been a big. I would have battled it as well. I was grand messing around and doing a bit of a show for people, but then when somebody would announce you're doing a show now, I'd freeze.
Okay.
So I'd be doing it, but then as soon as someone would make me aware of, we're all watching you now and this is what's happening, I'd feel very shy then.
And do you get shy when you're on stage now as well? Then, do you get those nerves? Because even
no,
you don't.
I did at the start, or I would still sometimes get nervous. But when I started doing stand up, my style was much more like deadpan.
Okay.
So it was a particular element of me. So I would be like sarcastic or whatever, but I feel as the years went on, I got more confident and comfortable being on stage. I became more relaxed, and it's more like, it's obviously an elevated version of me because I'm performing, but it's more me. But I think when I started, because I was so nervous, I was just kind of went for a more deadpan style because I was like, I can only focus on so many things at once.
Okay.
Whereas now I don't have to focus the same way when I'm telling jokes, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And do you I often wonder when comedians go on stage, is it the same show every night? Or is there little nuances that are different, or would you draw on some things and not others?
So what I would do, or what most people would do, so when you're starting out, you are coming with, depending on where you do it, it's like 5 or 7 minutes that you have come to the table with. So then what you'll do with that, you'll do that around open mics, and you'll try and tweak that and make it as good as possible. And then you'll try and add bits onto that, and somewhere else you'll get a 10-minute spot.
Okay.
And then the next thing is like a 15 or 20-minute spot. So you kind of go around for the first while building that up, and you'll put things in and drop them and whatever. And then I don't do it as much anymore, but I'd write down bullet points.
Okay.
So say now if I had a club gig, where it's just like there's a couple of us on the bill, I would usually I might have an idea of what I want to do, but I might say, I want to try this new chunk, but I'll do that in the middle. So I might at the start and at the end, I might close with something that I know will work.
Okay.
And then I'll slot in a new bit and try that out. But then you're just constantly moving stuff around. But if you do a solo hour show, and then you do another one, that is all completely new. Then you can't do the same hour and give it a different name. Yeah, you know the way every year you go on tour. Yeah, but when you're at a club, when you're doing a club set, you're just slotting bits in and out. And but sometimes you might go to a gig and you might say to another comedian, oh, I'm just going to churn out the hits tonight, because you're like, maybe you just want to do a gig where you're just going to do stuff that will work. But then other gigs you might be like, right, I'm doing some new stuff tonight. You're constantly just, and then you'll have bits that work. This is probably real boring now, but you'll have bits that work, but you're fine tuning them all the time. So you're like, you're like, that worked, but I need to get that tighter. Or you might be like, there's more to that now. I could add on to this. Because I might see a video of myself doing a bit that is, I don't know, say it's like 2 minutes, minute and a half, something like that. And I might see me doing that on stage 2 months ago. So I might be still doing that now, but it's completely different because it's evolved. And I'm like, no, I'll drop that line, I'll add that bit. And so it's just, I assume it's kind of like the way any writer would be. But the only way to test stand-up is doing it. Yeah. So that's why you would still see, you might, I don't know, like say Jason Byrne or whatever, right? You'll still see him the odd time. He'll do like a club gig or something like that or whatever, like or a small gig because he just wants to test it out. Because you can't really test it out in like Vicar Street when you're asking people to pay X amount or whatever. But then sometimes a new bit will just, well, this is for me anyway, I could be doing an important gig and I've kind of decided what I'm going to say, but you can find new material on stage.
Yeah.
That like would happen to me a lot, or depending on what someone in the audience would say.
Or heckle you can...
Or whatever, yeah. You might be like, oh, there's a funny bit in that. So sometimes it's like the energy of the people in the room and the audience and whatever is like, it will be a different show. It kind of, that for me anyway, I find they will dictate it a bit.
Okay.
And if I feel like they're on board with me, I will go off script, like.
Yeah.
But it's not something I'm thinking about.
I can tell you don't overthink it at all. Okay, but
I find it's better if I don't.
Do you ever have a mind blank though? Like sometimes if I'm doing public speaking, you know the way you be on it, and I'm like, oh God, like am I supposed to say something? But maybe that's just a bit of brain fog. Are you ever saying something? You're like, how does this can end, or how do I get from one topic to another?
Yeah, well, definitely after lockdown. Okay, I know that happened to a lot of people where you might say something and you're like, I don't remember, because like to get yourself back started, you might kind of lean on something that's evergreen that you had to kind of whatever before you start going into new material. And people would do bits, and they go and they're like, oh, I forgot the whatever bit of that, or I couldn't remember how that ended, or I was coming out of my mouth, or I've done things before where a gig maybe isn't going well, or sometimes you can feel like you're burning through material. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know where, something will come from the back of my head that I haven't said in like 3 years. I'm like, why did I was saying that? Yeah. It's just like my brain has gone here. Have this, try, Yeah. Because you are thinking while you're speaking.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But like,
so you're like,
could you ever would you ever do a gig and you could do the same gig twice in two different spots, and like it flounders in one and it's amazing in another?
Yeah.
And why is that? Like, why do you think it is? Is it the mood of the audience? Is it just like what makes it different from one location to another, do you think?
It's you and it's space. I think it is anyway. And this sounds so cheesy, but this is what I think. It's the connection between you and the audience. Okay. So sometimes when you go out how an audience feels about you. Yeah. So like you might have a gig where you're like, it's like first dates. So you can have a first date where you're like, we got on great, but like no one's keeping in touch. So some gigs can be like that where it's all fine and people will be like, oh, that was enjoyable, but
I'm never going to her again.
They're not contacting you. They're not, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then you have other gigs where straight away, we're on the same wavelength. Yeah. And it's just, there's an energy that a room creates. Like even like if you think of all the different shows you've seen in your life, or even if you get on the bus every day and you get the bus at the same time, it's kind of the same people. But that the energy on that bus can be different some days. Yeah. So it's just the same with your gigs. So like what is, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same route. It's, the same pickup spots, whatever. But like different people in different rooms create different energy. Yeah. So it is all about the energy of the people. Yeah. Okay. And when, I believe. If you do say something that's like gone down a treat before, or you're expected to go down a treat, it's new material, and it literally like you get no reaction, how does that make you feel? Do you just go, fuck it and move on? Or does it actually, is it like a little punch in the stomach, or how, depends on what it is. Okay. So if it's something that really should, or like I think it really should, because I've done it a few times, I'm like, oh, this really should. Sometimes I would just say, yeah, whatever. Okay. It depends on what it is. So, and I suppose it depends on me on the day as well. Yeah. I don't mind one thing kind of, if it's like, I'm like, oh, didn't really get the response. I think do you know what the worst bit is? if you open with something at the start and you kind of know that it should get a laugh and whatever, and it doesn't, then that's a punch.
Okay.
You're like, this is going to be long. We're going to grind into this now. Because sometimes you can do like 20 minutes and you're like, oh my God, time flew. Didn't get through half the stuff I'd planned to do.
Yeah.
Let's all keep in touch. Love you all.
I'll be back from, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then other ones, you're like, you might take a sly look at your watch and you're just like, I've been up here for 7 minutes and I have another 13. Okay. And you're just like, and they mightn't be aware, but you know,
okay,
this is not good.
Yeah.
You're like, oh God.
And it's about trying to keep that going. Just, and while you're, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just trying to be smart. Hey, so you having a good night? What's the story with you? Give me something, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, you're not, I'm not trying to get overly bogged down in the mental side of it, because I think that's why when you're asking me about this, I'm just like, so then I do, and then I'm in it, because I think I'm to the point now where, in a funny way, no talk goes into, well, not no talk, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's great though.
I feel
it's a
like
good way to be though, isn't it?
I'm sure it's like, maybe I feel like I've done my apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I've learned my trade.
Yeah.
So now it's like when you learn to drive, once you've learned and you kind of have it down, you're not overly thinking about, I'm going into second now. And now, you know, when you're learning and you're like, I'm into third and I'm dropping it back and you're doing all, and you're like, close the window, turn off the radio. It's like that at the start. And then you get to a point where you're doing all the stuff, but you're not
overly thinking it.
Yeah, you're in the zone when you're on stage, but you're not giving it a huge amount of thought.
Yeah, I always think whenever I'm like watching comedians perform, I always think about how much more intelligent they are than the rest of us, because it's almost like as if you can put a hilarious spin on normal day-to-days.
Yeah.
Do you know, that kind of way? And it always seems like as if
more.
Oh no, but like just you know, some of the skits that you do, say, you know, where you're talking about doing homework with your kid or going out for dinner with your kid, and it's almost like you encapsulate the awfulness of it, but you make it funny.
Okay,
and it's how you have to be quite intelligent to do that. Like I always think, Jesus, that was fierce clever. The way a comedian can turn a situation and just make it really funny, just normal day to day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It does. So were you like really good in school? Did you perform in school well? Were you great at English? You know, because you tend to be able to get, I think with comedians, certainly you need to be able to explain yourself very well. You need to have a good grasp of whatever language you're speaking in. Was that something that you, like, were you a studier? Were you more of a getter buyer, or were you a joker in school as well? There's a few questions there.
I wasn't a studier. I was kind of like, I'll just do enough to get by. I've always been like a very bad speller. I hate reading out loud.
Okay.
So I have this thing, I'm like, well, I've never been tested, but I'm not dyslexic, but I have a thing that sometimes when I look at words, I cannot compute what the word is.
Okay.
And even if I recognize the word, sometimes I can't, the connection will not happen.
Yeah.
So I used to hate reading out loud in school. And even like then when it was in another language, like Irish, oh my God.
Yeah.
The listening tape in Irish, forget about it. I'd only be getting my fucking pencil out of my pencil case. I'm like, what'd she say?
The horror of Irish.
And I might hear what she said at the time, but there'd be no way of me now getting that in my brain and thinking, how do you spell that? It'd be hard enough for me to figure out something phonetically in English, to figure it out then phonetically in Irish. Nightmare.
Yeah.
So certain elements of school, I would just be like, I'm not saying like, oh, I had a real hard time in school, like absolutely enough to get by and, you know, dodge read. And I'm talking like primary school as a little kid, like feeling anxious or worried or whatever. But I think what a lot of comedians have about the intelligent thing, you've got to remember, like, it's a male-dominated industry. So they're obviously going to put the spin on it so fucking intelligent. Like, really what it's about.
I'm not suggesting.
But I'm not thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, stand-ups, they must be so clever.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of men doing it for a long time. So they're going to put out that fucking PR. Really what it is it's people who have been in situations, I think, they've been outsiders.
Okay.
So even like, say, in stand-up, you'd meet a lot of like, say, male comedians who never were into sport. So traditionally, like if you're a boy growing up and you're not into sport, you have to find something. It's like a survival thing. So they probably got funny in school. And they're like, oh, I can make friends and people will like me if I'm funny.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm shit at football or whatever. It's like it's an outsider thing because other people are in the situation enjoying it and the comedian is watching the situation happen.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. There's a bit of a darkness there then too, isn't there?
So you're at the party, enjoying the party, socialising, having a great time, and the comedians in the corner are watching how the party unfolds.
Sounds a bit pervy.
Yeah. They're outsider weirdos. This intelligent thing is something that was started.
That's though the intelligent thing isn't something that I don't think I've read about. It was more that I perceived it, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's my inner misogynist coming out.
No, but I've seen it before that people talk about. Oh, it's an intelligence, but then I suppose there is all different types of intelligence, and there's creative intelligence, and someone can paint a gorgeous picture, but they can't figure out how much their weekly shop is going to cost them or whatever. So I suppose there are all different types of intelligence, but most comedians I know are weirdo, loser, outsiders kind of.
Okay. And some of them have, some of them would have mental illness as well, or they suffer from, they'd have depression or they'd have anxiety or things like that. And it's almost like maybe the comedic factor in them is an outlet to that. Or you might think like, oh God, your man must be gas to live with, but he's an absolute horror,
Yeah, it's not a normal way to spend your time. It's not a normal thing to like be with your friends in a pub and be having a great time and be cracking a few jokes and telling a full story and then say to yourself, oh, well, this is nice, but let me take this to a fucking stage with strangers. Like, just be content with the nice night out with your friends.
Okay, and do you find that sometimes you're out and you're actually thinking, geez, this would make a great story. I must do those things happen?
It has happened me a couple of times where I've actually said a story about something trivial that happened that day or whatever, and someone has been pissing themselves laughing at them. And then I have found myself going, is that a stand-up? Do I just do? But like, I'm like, it's like, am I blurring the lines of my own life? It's not that I'm saying, oh, testing. It's like, have I switched my off button? Am I still like in stand-up mode? I'm like, am I like a little monkey now? I'm like, what am I? So it's more like I'm embarrassed. I'm just more like, oh, so what's going on with you? I'm just like,
okay.
I'm more embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God, am I performing in my local pub for my friends? I was like, this is Scarlett. I was like, did I just do that? So sometimes I just get a bit disgusted at myself.
It's all coming out now, Emma.
Yeah, I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, oh, you stupid bitch, look at you little fucking monkey girl. Is the voice in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is that a self-critic then? Is there a self-critic? Like, do you have that in you where you're like, or what do they call it nowadays? Imposter syndrome. Do you ever go, oh my God, what is, am I actually good enough, or am I this good? Not am I good enough? That's a bit deep. But am I, do you have that?
Yeah. Like I am. I feel like mum and dad did a good job. I am self-assured. And I've always been self-assured or whatever. And and I'm I don't get flustered easily. I'm trying to think.
Except when you're being asked about
except
when you're being asked intricate questions about your comedic past.
Or it's very clear that I was trying to say to my mom the other day, the way when you talk about your childhood, and it's kind of like we're kind of like dance around these things, remember? And I was like, there's a lot of like rage in the house. Like there was a lot of anger. And I'm like, you were great. Like everyone's great. Everyone loves everyone. But there was a lot of anger. And I was like, I definitely went on to jobs like in later life, and people would say to me, we don't know like whether you're bored or whether you're struggling or like what's going on with you. And I was just like, hiding emotions, childhood trauma, thank you. I was like, no one could, like, people couldn't read me because they were just like, is she bored? Is she hungry? What's wrong with her? Like, I'm just like, don't be emotional so people won't be like, trigger a response or whatever. But what was it now? What was the question? I'm getting into childhood trauma now. What was the question?
Well,
what was the original?
We can explore that a bit more if you want.
What was the original question?
I can't remember what it was. Are any of your kids... do they have a funny kind of
They
side?
are. Well, I suppose it's just, being funny is so part of being in a family, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think like I can't, you can't take credit. I feel you can't take credit for your sense of humor without kind of like giving credit to your family and everyone you grew up with. You know what I mean? Because it's all, or like, I'll find myself quite often, I'll be like, I'll talk about somebody I know and I'm like, oh my God, she's so funny. And then I kind of analyze it. I'm like, is she funny or does she just laugh at me? Therefore, I think she's funny. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like that she enables me or whatever.
Yeah.
But they are funny. Now, I don't know, like the boys are too young because people say, oh, do you think they'll go on to perform or whatever? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, if they start flushing the toilet on a regular basis, I'm chuffed. You know what I mean?
my
I'm not really
God.
overly worried about
So you've the
what they're
boys
going to
too.
do. Yes.
So do you ever get up in the middle of the night and sit on the toilet seat and it's covered in wee? Like,
Do you know what? The wee
Christ's
isn't too bad. It's
sake.
just the flushing. It's just the fucking freestyle shit rolling around in the toilet bowl that gets me. Like, do you know what I mean?
What are they like? Or the toilet roll holder, them just leaving them lying around. Like, they'd actually take them off and just feck them on the ground and then put
Yeah.
No, I get the regular sitting on wee.
The wee. I haven't done that in a while now. In
Christ,
fairness, I've gotten
and
away with
actually,
that.
I'm just short of going in and like dragging them out of bed and shoving their head down the toilet because I just think,
or
how do you
them
teach
on
them?
the toilet?
Oh yeah, sit there like a little girl now. But they
Sit
don't
there,
care. They don't care.
That was dark. Sit there like a little girl.
Oh God, I'm revealing too much about myself.
Sit there like a stupid little girl. Stupid little fuck. No, I haven't sat in wee in a while.
Okay. How old
I've
are you?
stepped in it. 9 and 7.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've definitely stepped in it.
Oh yeah, well you're not a mother of sons if you haven't stepped in pee
but
or anything.
no, so they're all funny, but I'm not worried, or not worried. I'm not like concerned or like, oh, would they go into stand up?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I did a lot of stuff before I started when I was like 29.
What did you do before that?
So it's just like I was kind of floating around. I was doing like bits of admin jobs, and then I had worked in production companies. But when I had Ella, I was single parent, so I was just like, I was always like putting myself, I have to get like a sensible job and I have to get one that's like close, and so I can, you know, if there's something with the school, I can go and pick her up and, you know, all this kind of thing. So I went to college, and then I just kind of, I was always trying to get something kind of artsy.
Okay.
But that was like responsible 9 to 5, which is very hard. Like, I mean, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
And then is also like within 20 minutes of my house. Like I was really, I don't know what job I was trying to get. But so I was just doing like kind of admin bits and bobs, and didn't do stand up until I was 29. And sure, I only quit my job last year.
Okay.
I probably could have like quit it sooner. But I think it's obviously scary to work for yourself, be totally like.
Oh yeah.
I think if I had a different life, if I was single, and it was just myself, I probably would have quit it sooner. But who knows? But
Yeah.
So yeah, and it takes a long time. If you're just doing like pubs and club gigs or whatever, it takes a long time to make any serious like living on money.
And are you like working most nights, or how? You're busy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So how does it work?
So like say, my plan now is I would gig a few times a week. So like say, on Tuesday night I had like a club set where like doing 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I go in there and I say to myself, I'm going to do this stuff, and then I want to try a big chunk of new. So to try that out and see what it was like. So yeah, that's good. I was like, tick, a lot of that I can use, some of it I'll drop. And then I have gigs later in the week where it's kind of more, what would you say? I suppose it depends on how much you're getting paid for the gig.
Okay.
So like if you're going into town for a club gig, you're not getting paid that much. So you kind of have more, you feel like you have more freedom to kind of mess around a bit more.
Okay.
And then you might have a gig that's kind of more, it's more of an event, you know what I mean? So you might have to kind of, you won't do as much new stuff then. You'll kind of wait and see what the audience is like, and you might say, oh, I'll try and pop in a little bit here, a little bit there. Because at the same time, like, I always feel like if people are going for a night out and they've paid money and they've gotten babysitters and it's like their weekend night out, I don't really want to be testing that much material on
They
them.
want to be entertained and you want to know
so
that
if it's
you...
kind of early week, you know what I mean? Kind of like studenty or fiver in, or, you know, there's free gigs in town where they'll just like collect a bucket afterwards. I'll feel freer then to do more new stuff. So it takes a while to like build up material. And then obviously you don't want to go somewhere and do a completely shite gig because it's not fair on the people that run that gig either.
Yeah.
So it's not, you know what I mean?
It's all very movie, like, you know, the goalposts are moving all the time and
You're kind of like
feeling it out.
Yeah, you're just like spinning plates, and in different places you can kind of do it a different way. And
Yeah.
because I can see people now who maybe have like started in the last 2 years. So when they're at, like, they might go somewhere and they might do 10 minutes, but they have to do like a really good 10 minutes.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to like work their way up to, you know, become a
And
headliner.
is it tough? Is it like tough to get that? Or is it just, well, obviously you need to be talented and good.
Yeah.
But is there a lot of people that kind of falter along the way and they end up just getting, you know, going back and getting normal jobs? Is it?
Yeah. Or like, well, no one is, well, if they're mad if they do, like no one is starting it and quitting their job.
Yeah.
No one's like, I just signed up for a stand-up gig and I've quit my job on the same day. Like people just like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Okay.
You don't get paid when you start.
Okay.
You just go and do 7 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you don't get paid. You just go to the comedy clubs and
You just go to the comedy clubs.
Okay.
But there's only certain ones where you can go and do 7 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So there's other clubs that it's more, everyone's doing 20 minutes and they're polished acts, and you know what I mean? They've been on the circuit for a while and they've got a lot of experience.
Okay.
There's other clubs where you can, like everyone is doing 7 minutes and they're very fresh.
Why do they pick 7 minutes? Why 7? Do you know?
I don't know.
Is there a reason? It allows you enough
It's
time
long
to
enough.
yeah.
It's long enough, but it's not too long.
Okay.
Would you do it?
Stand up
Yeah.
comedy? No. Oh my
Would you not?
God,
No. Because you're just like, how does it work? And I was like, this
No.
is real.
Oh,
what
God,
someone
no.
who wants to do
No, I'm
stand-up
just
wants to
interested in
know.
the whole, I'm just really interested in it because I just think I think you put yourself out there so much as a comedian. Like it's all well and good going and giving a talk somewhere and being a little bit funny in that. But when people are actually paying to laugh and they want to go and laugh,
But see, that's
heavy
now.
going.
I would always say to people, I was like, you know, because obviously there is a certain percentage of people who might come to see comedy or like even might follow me on Instagram that want to do it themselves.
Okay.
So I would always say to them, 100% do it. I was like, that's the whole thing about stand-up as compared to other like artistic endeavours.
Okay.
So like if you want to be a painter, people kind of you're going to have some experience. Like you're kind of looking like, have you done fine art or you whatever? But you're going to even need like brushes, canvas. You know, you're going to have to invest something to do that. Or like acting, we can't do acting without kind of going and training to act.
Okay.
Unless you come through another
But there's no
avenue.
route. There's no route to being a comedian. There's no like
no route.
school.
There's
Okay,
no
so it's like
rules.
literally okay.
Do you know what I mean? You don't need anything. You don't need a mic. You don't need equipment. You don't need training. You don't need anything.
You just need that raw intelligence, Emma, that we were talking
the
about
raw
earlier.
intelligence. You just contact a club and say, I want to do stand up, and that's all it is.
That's okay. I never thought about it.
Do you know
that
what I
way.
mean? Like, there really is no barriers. You don't have to be good looking. You don't have to. There's no age. There's no like, oh, they're too old. They're too young.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what a comedian looks like. I think maybe in acting there's kind of a little bit more pressure. Or you know the way you have a small pool of like character people and then you've like a whole load of beautiful people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no beautiful people doing comedy, let's be fair. Yeah. Yeah.
You're beautiful.
No,
Stop
but I'm
it.
5'2" and I have a massive head.
But that's okay.
I'm not
That's
going to
okay.
be modelling.
There's
Like, I'm not, you know what I mean?
yeah. Okay.
No
No, I
one's
hear
going,
you.
I'm not saying I'm Quasimodo. Like I'm grand, but no one's going to say, we've got to get her modelling.
She's like
what is
Versace.
What is she doing with this comedy nonsense?
I
It's
know. Like
ridiculous.
her head is amazing. We could put so many hats on it.
Yeah,
So many hats
let's
on
get that ginger freckly pasty girl and put a hat on that fucking head. No.
it. And she'll be amazing.
So I think it's great that it's like anyone can do it.
Yeah,
There's
no,
no
that's interesting. Actually, I never thought of it that way. You did touch on, so you say there's no barriers,
Yeah.
but you did touch on the fact that it was male dominated. Maybe not so
Yeah.
much nowadays. Is it harder for a woman to make a name for herself in comedy? Do you think?
I tell you, it's a funny one, and I think you can see this in all sorts of professions. Is that when I started, right? So I was 29, and it was something, I really wanted to do something, and I think I hadn't had the opportunity to do something creative. For a long time. And when I started, I was on maternity leave.
Okay.
So I was really like going to gigs, doing my bit and going home. I wasn't like part of like a social scene, because there would be obviously a social scene of like the lads having pints after gigs or whatever.
Yeah.
I was just very focused on, like, I did it once, I was hooked, got addicted, and then I just wanted to keep getting better and better.
Okay. And addicted to that, like people laughing and you like enjoying themselves. Is that it? Yeah.
Just everyone enjoying themselves.
Yeah, okay.
And like, I'm enjoying myself, they're enjoying themselves, all that kind of stuff. But what I did find happened to me a couple of times in terms of like being a female comedian is that certain places would go, oh, female comedian. And I'd be put on a bill as a token female.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So there was a bit of that, which was unfair. And you see it happen in things now. I'm sure it happens. People see it in workplaces and stuff.
Yeah.
Like people say, oh shit, we need
better get a female on the board.
Yeah, better get a female on the board.
She looks good. She's got a vagina. Let's put her on.
And so I would be put in situations. Now I'm talking like very early on, like in the first year or whatever of starting stand up. You would be on a lineup with, say, 2 male comedians who were like in their 40s, 50s, who'd been doing stand up for like 25 years, and you're doing stand up a year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're being put on the same bill. That's totally unfair.
Is that because the audience is totally different to what you would be?
Well, no, what I'm saying is that like you can't put that female comedian who's been doing stand-up less than a year against 2 male comedians on the bill who are doing the same length of time.
Okay.
Because everyone's just going to go, she was a bit shit, or she was the shittest.
Okay.
So I think sometimes what happened early on is that they weren't given the same opportunities to build up.
Okay.
So that sometimes I definitely got gigs at the start as like token female gigs, and then that stops. And then you have to figure out your own way to like get better and actually build up your career. Do you know what I mean?
And why does it stop? It stops because you weren't perceived to be good because you were up against these 2 males. Is that it? Or
yeah, or it's kind of this thing. I feel like it happens, and it definitely doesn't happen as much now in comedy, but just this thing of like people getting like just being a token woman kind of thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you're like, or I used to be told like, we'll put the female comedian on in the middle. I was told I couldn't MC because the audience doesn't like a female MC.
Wow.
And this isn't that long ago, like.
Yeah. Really?
It's like 9 years. Like I started 9 years ago. So this is probably, I don't know, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Because if I'm looking like to MC, I have a few years experience, before I'm asking, can I MC?
Yeah.
Then because, and there'd be like sometimes there'd be kind of little remarks of like that you might have gotten a gig because you were female. For the to tick the box thing.
Yeah. From the fellow comedians. Okay.
Yeah. And I whisper.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can't say that now because like I've been doing it 9 years or whatever. But you said like, so there's all of that. And I think that's across the board in any industry.
Okay.
People are like, oh, well, she's just after getting that now because they needed to.
They needed to up the female percentage.
Yeah.
Okay. And then is there
an
things that you
things
feel
or
that you
whatever.
can't talk about, like this whole cancel culture? Do you feel that you almost have to put a filter on yourself sometimes, or do you just let it go? Just like let rip?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Like, I think, anyway, I think female comedians, I think it's much better now, but I'd actually love to, if somebody's starting out, I'd love to hear from them. But I kind of feel like it's probably all women in industries probably have a very similar story, regardless of what the industry is. But anyway, cancel culture. I don't think it's a real thing.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah.
Because you can't say whatever you want. Like, you can't say whatever you want. And nobody, like, who's going to cancel you?
Well, I suppose just if...
I have a filter and you have a filter.
Yeah.
As part of, like, being, you know, a member of society.
Yeah.
So my filter, I think, is at like, just trying to be a decent human being.
Yeah.
You know, that functions, you know, normally in society. So if I see someone walking down the street, I'm not going to go up to them and go, what's the story with your fucking face, the state of you? Even if I think that in my head as they walk past me, I'm like, what's the story with his face? What the fuck?
Okay.
I'm not going to say it to him because I just feel like it's unnecessary. Why would I say it to him? It's you know, it's mean for the sake of being mean. That's my level of filter. Do you know what I mean?
But you can be mean for the sake of being mean in a comedy sketch, and it can be taken out of context as well, can't it?
But like, in terms of cancel culture, like, what could I possibly say or do that would have me cancelled?
I suppose because I just think a little bit of controversy as well almost ups the ante and makes people want to go and see you. Like,
it's not, you know what, see, this is the thing. It's not something that I think about.
Okay.
It's not something that concerns me, and I don't think it concerns any other comedian at all. I think who it concerns is, I think the people who think about cancelled culture are people on Twitter who have a position of, I'm left and I'm extremely left and I'm, you know, for everyone and whatever. Then I feel like for those people, they maybe fear of getting cancelled because they're like, well, I'm after putting myself up here as this, like, you know, totally right all the time person who has no issue with anybody and has no preconceived notions about anything and is totally open to everyone and everything.
Okay.
That if you're that person, then you may be worried about what you say or do or what you said in an article 10 years ago or whatever. But comedians, they have, as a group, they have never put themselves out there saying we're the right voice.
Okay.
Most of them are saying, I'm fucked up in the head and this is what I think about something.
Okay.
Don't listen to me. Don't take advice from me. I'm the worst person ever. So I don't think, or like a politician might be afraid of getting cancelled because they say something bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if a politician is at the launch for new kids hospital and they think their mic is off and go, fuck those sick kids anyway, they're a pain in the hole. That's going to be bad.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because that's really detrimental to their job.
Can you imagine that happening?
But I don't think it matters what I say.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But I don't really know what I would be saying. I don't have, like, there's nothing
you could say that you don't think that could, like, cancel you because A, it's probably not nothing that you want to say that would be that insulting to people, and B, I don't want anyone to be upset. There's no views on anything that I'm hiding. There's nothing I can think of that I'm going better. Like, I can't think of anything that I'm saying better not say that. Okay.
There's definitely jokes I've done and they haven't gone well, or I'm like, that's a bit dark and it kind of only works 50% of the time and I'll ditch it.
Okay.
Or I'm sure if someone like got dictated what I said at a gig, I'd be like, oh God, that's horrific. But it would be more just probably the language and maybe the darkness of it.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't necessarily take what I say in stand up and put it in a book. Because it's not the same, you know what I mean? It's just not the same thing. But I honestly don't think that anyone is worried about cancel culture at all.
Okay.
I think it's just something that they just bring up like on News Talk or something. Like I never hear anyone say, what about cancel culture, whatever. Yeah. And any comedians were kind of like, you know, subject to cancel culture, they did do stuff and admitted to it, but they more took themselves out of it. Because in fairness, if they wanted to put on a gig, rent a venue and put on a gig and sell tickets, no one is going to stop them doing that. But it's that they've pulled themselves out of it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
And people don't want to go and see them as a
But
result.
Louis
or something
C.K.
like that.
can go and book three arena if he wants. No one is stopping him doing that.
Yeah.
You mightn't like it, but no one has actually, in terms of like what is the I think people pushing back against you and actual cancel culture are a completely different thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. Yeah.
No, it's fair enough. I often wondered, was there something, did you ever hold back on saying certain things because you're a bit worried that it might not go down well, but...
No. Or like say, no, not at all. I really can't think of anything. Because I think if you can say all the jokes that you say and you've no idea who's in the audience, like you don't know any of those people in the audience.
So you don't know who you're potentially insulting.
You don't know who you're insulting. Okay. I mean, I had vegans, like years ago, I had vegans come up to me giving out.
Oh yeah, why? What were you saying about them?
Like, you know what I mean? Like shite. Like, yeah. not just something... You know, probably one of those gags about like how you know someone's vegan, they'll fucking tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they come up to tell you and have a dig. You're just kind of like,
yeah.
Okay. But like, they're actually the only people at gigs that like...
So like, vegans are the only people that come up and
have given out to me. Yeah, I think so. That's all. That's it. Okay. In terms of like giving out to me about like my content. I have had people message me online about videos.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, like I had someone message me about like, I can't remember even what it was, but like about COVID.
Okay.
And they're like, I actually don't think you should be joking about it. And I was just like, okay, grand. Okay, yeah. You know, fine.
Don't watch me.
Yeah. I was just like,
yeah.
You know, somebody said, well, I kind of knew somebody that fucking has had a rough time from COVID. Like, yeah, bitch, everyone, like...
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's affected. You don't...
There's always there's always those one or two people you're going to offend.
Like, you know, I was like, you can't take ownership of COVID now just because you know someone who's ill. Like, we all own COVID. No one's getting dibs on that. Yeah. But of course I just write back and say,
what if somebody that they knew died from COVID then? Would you feel bad then?
I probably would, but me not making the sketch was not going to save them. I know. Do you know? Yeah. So, but look, and yeah, I'm those people. I'm just like, okay, yeah, sorry about. Well, maybe do I say sorry? No, I don't say sorry. I just say, well, that's unfortunate. Hope you have a good day.
And is there anything that you're told that you shouldn't be talking about as a female comedian? Like, you know, are you told, oh God, females always go on about their bodily functions or their periods or their this? Are you ever told, listen, cut out the blood stuff, will you?
Awkward, because when I started, I remember, or like when I was fresh, I remember a female audience member came up to me and said, I mean, we all got the internalized misogyny. Like, no one escaped it.
Yeah.
We all are affected by it. Yeah. But she came up to me and said, oh, you're so good. And she's like, because usually like female comedians just talk about their period. And it was a moment, like, it was kind of an outer body moment where I was like, we're both women now chatting to each other. I've just done my little party piece.
Yeah.
And I just like, you know, kind of like nodding along with what she's saying. And it's like so bizarre that like even we as women have so much shame around periods.
Yeah.
Isn't it so odd?
That's gas. No, it is. It is.
And I had this bit recently that I've like been doing. And so when I started, I would not talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, I was on maternity leave and then I was pregnant again. And at the very end of my pregnancy, I kind of did like gags about being pregnant.
Okay.
Like, I mean, and the gags were stuff like, oh, I'm just a bit bloated from Christmas. And I was like, you know, 8 months pregnant or whatever. Yeah. Like, oh, what? Scarlet, like this kind of thing. It wasn't like I was talking about like pregnancy gags or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was very conscious of like not being too like female.
And why is that?
You're pregnant on stage. Yeah. Like you've loads of kids and like what? Like what?
Yeah.
Because I think it's just like, it's probably a subconscious thing about it being so male dominated, or a lot of the time like you were the only female on the bill. So you can't say, here Sharon, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to say to like Dave, what do you think at this bit? Like, what is Dave going to say to me when I, you know, making jokes? Like,
When you're talking about your...
I'm not saying Dave's going to be mean to me, but he's not going to be able to help me out.
Yeah, okay.
But like recently I was talking on stage about like going to all girls schools my whole life and like us, you know, like the thing of exchanging pads.
Yeah.
And that you wouldn't say the word pad, you'd say, and you whisper it and you'd exchange it like you're doing a drug drop up your sleeve.
You take it up from down your sleeve and like, I know, so funny.
And we all
did it.
in a girls' school, you know what I mean? Like, what?
Oh my
So
God,
not
I was
that
in a
I'm
girls'
saying
school too. Do you
banging on
remember
about
the
it all the
prefabs?
time.
Do you remember the prefabs? I don't know if you had prefabs.
Yes.
We had prefabs. They were called green-ons. And the smell of the toilets in them was horrible. Sanitary bins were just overflowing.
There's no smell like that fucking, that smell is just, whoo!
It'd knock you out.
Oh, the eyes streaming out of your head. But then I think as well, maybe like I had this thing in my head that I think like a lot of women do that, like protect the men from this. Like the poor darlings couldn't possibly hear anything. So then I kind of started doing like, I was joking about like, you know, like ads for pads.
Oh,
How fucking ridiculous they are. Like, no, get your white hot pants on and go like bareback horse riding on the beach. Like, just kind of like, just so everyone knows, like, we know those ads are ridiculous. Like, we're not endorsing those ads or like, I mean, even just the recent ones, periods have no chill. Like, fuck off.
I know.
Do you know this bitch in her ice skating? Like, who's wearing a pad ice skating? First off, that's what I want to know. Is that like no one? There's no one professionally ice skating. There's no one who's ice skating at a competitive level.
And they're wearing a big sanitary towel.
They're wearing a big nighttime always. There's not a fucking hope. I mean, they're still getting their periods after that level of training. Fair fucks to them.
Yeah.
But like, fuck off. Anyway, but I think I just loosened up more, and I suppose it's that thing of like for the first little while it is constantly a job interview.
Yeah.
When you're doing gigs, so you're like, you protect yourself a little bit, and then you can get more personal and whatever. And I think when everyone knows that it's coming from like an authentic place or whatever, everybody, no matter like gender or whatever it is, and it's funny, people get on board.
Yeah.
But I think people, if it's not authentic, and this for anyone, if the stuff that you're doing is not authentic, and what I mean by that is I don't mean that everything you say has to be true, but it come from somewhere based in some sort of truth. Anyway, if they feel that and then they feel like this, it just makes sense for you to be saying this, then I think it doesn't matter what anybody says about anything.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's interesting to hear that you've evolved like that, whereas before, you know, you were cautious about talking about the female body or whatever. And then
I think society maybe has evolved as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I think we're definitely a little bit more open to even now all the talk about the menopause. Geez, you can't turn right, but for it being hit with menopause talk.
It's good, like.
It's great. It's fantastic.
Like, I'm lucky because my mum always would have talked to me about stuff because she was a nurse and she's very like a practical just kind of person, you know what I mean? About like how your body works, whatever. Like, now don't get me wrong, when I was growing up, it did get to a point where I was like, I know about periods. Like, can we talk about something fucking juicy now, please? Like, do you know what I mean?
Let's talk about sex, Mum.
Yeah. Come on. Where's the blowjob chapter? Like, tell me now. Give me something juicy.
No, it's the 69ers that you're famous for, isn't it?
Yeah,
Love an ale 69er.
69ers. That was all.
They're so awkward.
Oh my God.
Like,
do you remember a rainbow kiss? Do you remember that?
Oh my God. I remember talking about that.
I want to look that up on Pornhub and see, does it even exist?
Oh my God.
Can't, does it?
I can't like, I'm sure someone somewhere is into it, but
yeah,
Christ,
but
I remember learning about that first
in Gave a rainbow kiss. Oh my God.
I know. Mad the stuff that we talked about as teenagers, isn't
I think it was propaganda from
I'd say so.
someone to try to push us all off like ever having sex.
But then you always heard that someone got a rainbow kiss off someone, and you know, there was always someone in the class that you heard did it.
Yeah.
And you'd be whispering,
friend or whatever. Yeah. Who lived wherever, far away. Rainbow kiss.
So
Jesus.
for the audience members that don't know what a rainbow kiss is, do you want to explain, or will we let them look it up on Google?
Well, this is my understanding of it now. Rainbow kiss is when a man and a woman are together and she has her period and he goes down on her and spits it into her mouth. Okay. Is that it? And they kind of spit it between each other?
I didn't hear about the spitting. I just thought it was...
Okay.
So it's interesting we both have different views on it. So I had heard that it was, you know, a man or a woman going down to a woman and then they come up and they just like French kiss then. So it's...
Okay. What is French kiss? Not kind of spitting into each other's mouths?
Well, I don't know. Your version of French kissing is a little bit different to mine.
Kissing them.
When you said spitting, I actually thought you meant...
no, and you see, no, I just meant like transferring
saliva. Yeah. Well, that's well, okay. So we've pretty.
Well, maybe
we're on the
spit
same
it
level.
for the start. I don't know, but you
that's
see,
just gross.
And it would have been a man with a woman, because if it had been a woman with a woman back then, it would have been its own complete. Like,
actually, you're right.
That would have been a completely different genre.
We never would have talked about it anyway. There was never lesbians or gay sex talked about back then.
No. But I remember when Queer as Folk came out, that was big. Like, that was a big show when I was in school. Like, my friend Suzanne watched it, and she would come into school and tell us everything.
Okay.
Oh my God. Because Aidan Gillen was in it as well, you see, so he was hot. But yeah, there wouldn't have been much. There wasn't much lesbian talk, really.
There wasn't. And in all girls' schools, it's actually interesting that there wasn't a lot of lesbians. So I'd say there was a lot of secret lesbianism going around.
God, we all should have been fucking getting off with each other, really.
100% think so. I wish I'd done a lot more experimenting when
Why
I was younger.
weren't we?
I don't know. It was the nuns that were teaching us, wasn't it? Were you convent? Were you convent? Yeah. I think we all were back then anyway.
God, we all should have been fucking going at it like the clappers. I hear about all these sleepovers where people were doing mad shit, and I was like, why wasn't I invited to any of these sleepovers?
Well, I think that people are a lot more open nowadays, apparently. Like, there's loads of that kind of thing going on, and people are experimenting with their sexuality.
I would love a bit of experiment now.
We're a bit old now, though, aren't we?
I know. Yeah.
Back when you were 18, you did get pregnant.
I know. You see, a bit of dry humping with a female friend would have done me well.
I tell you, it would have absolutely. That's the safest sex you can do.
I know.
How did that work out for you? I know you have a gorgeous daughter now.
Yes. So,
but it must have been tough.
Well, yeah, it was tough. Basically, what happened was, I was dying to be a slut.
Dying for the ride.
Dying to get my hole. But I had ginger pubes, so there was only certain circumstances. I was so paranoid about these ginger pubes.
Really? We didn't have to shave? We didn't shave
back then.
The bushes that we went round with back then.
Bushes.
Like absolute bozo the bush.
It'd be like
do you remember?
Like
comes out, yeah. Like your knickers. You put your knickers on, it would like, you know, your knickers would there'd be like a like a little mound or a little pair of testicles.
Yeah. A little. Oh my God! I feel. I miss it now. Yeah, so I was very conscious of the ginger pubes.
Okay.
So I was worried. I think I was kind of worried that now I wasn't no angel, but I was worried that like if things got serious with somebody and you kind of like we're seeing each other, I was like there could be like stuff happening in daylight. Do you know what I mean?
God forbid they saw.
Imagine them getting a proper fucking look at everything in the daylight. I was just like, oh God, no. So I was like, I'll go far away. And I went to a Courtown in Wexford.
Oh, so you went far away deliberately to get your hole?
Well, that was kind of on the list of like top 5 things to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it was
up there. At 18, it's up there, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I mean, I was in constant search of getting my hole. So my friend had a mobile home down there, like her family. And we used to go down for like weekends during the summer, or like long, kind of long weekends and stuff. And everyone else that went was like content with doing that. Long weekends in the mobile. And I just like, I couldn't get enough of the freedom. And I was just like, let's get jobs. Let's get jobs down here. And she's like, but she like, she's a good friend. She would just go along with whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Here's another plan of Emma's. So we got jobs. I got a job in a chipper.
Okay.
And she got a job in this, she got a job in Pirates Cove in Courtown. I was going to try and think of like, how would you describe it? I was like, just name it, Pirates Cove. So we got jobs down there and...
is that a restaurant?
No, it's like...
So now you have to explain it.
Yeah. It's like they have a kids ball place. They've crazy golf. They probably have a few other things.
Okay.
You probably can get food there. So she got a job there. I got a job at the chipper. And I pretty quickly got pregnant then. I got my hole in the mobile home.
How romantic.
Yeah. You can hear everything in those mobiles.
And were her parents down there with you?
They were in the room while I was riding, yeah. No,
Oh my God.
joke. They weren't there. They were at home. No, the parents weren't watching me ride. They were in. No, we were like, can we have them? Yeah, just
watching.
sitting on the edge of the bed, just going. God, she does have ginger pubes. She actually does. We had our suspicions,
And they are ginger.
They are because they're flaming. They're flaming. Like I'm
lovely.
not flaming, but the pubes are. Anyway.
Oh, okay,
sure,
lovely.
look, side note, but
Can I have a look at them before you go?
Yeah. I'm totally
Go on.
medical.
I'd love
I probably
to.
would.
I'd love to.
It's like the medical air.
Yeah, no,
right?
I'd be putting my medical glasses on. It wouldn't be that I want to go back to the convent and actually
put the coat.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Her parents. I don't know why her parents actually let us have the mobile for the summer. I don't know why. Maybe
They maybe wanted you to get your hold too.
Maybe they did. I mean, it's a constitutional right. So maybe they did want me to get my whole. Yeah, so I didn't. We came back anyway, but I was kind of like getting a few signs that I could have been. Because now I would have been quite I would have been quite careful. Like
Clearly
there
not
was, I know there was like protection of some degree. I just don't think it was executed correctly. Is what I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
But so I wouldn't have been like total mad. Like I'm a spontaneous person, but I am in my essence though. I'm spontaneous, but I'm not like, well, I can be a bit feckless, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't the person down the back fucking eating Tipex in school. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I wasn't one of those.
That's definitely a particular type of person though,
Yes,
Emma.
yeah. Or like,
I think you're comparing apples with oranges there as opposed to
yeah, I'm not the Tipex
You're
girl.
not completely
I'm the got
irresponsible. I
pregnant
think
girl.
you're not
I know.
completely irresponsible, I think.
I'm splitting hairs really, am I? So, yeah, I got pregnant, and then what did I do? So I didn't know, and I came back, and see, me and my mate were going into 6th year.
Yeah.
So we kind of had a time frame to come back, and then I was just like, I think I got a period, but it was like a kind of what I called at the time like a fake period.
Okay.
So, you know, like kind of like
Implantation bleed probably or something
yeah,
like that,
just
was
kind
it?
of like all brown, not much.
Oh God, okay.
Yeah. And I was just like, I knew something because I'd heard people kind of talk about that
Okay.
or whatever, stories from moms or sisters. And I went into town and I got a pregnancy test, like just in case fucking Bridie was over my shoulder in the pharmacy or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went into town to do it and it just started coming up straight away.
Did you at McDonald's toilets or something?
No, I actually paid for the pleasure up in Stephen's Green Shopping Centre. Do you remember the toilets?
Oh yeah, 20 cent.
Yeah.
20p or
I
something.
think it was 10p back in the day, yeah.
Okay.
Because I thought that was a good one to go to, you know what I mean? And I did it and it started showing up straight away and I was like, fuck. Like,
Were you scared?
oh, totally. Big,
Crapless,
like,
yeah.
big EastEnders slide down the wall moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You know,
okay,
like when
yeah,
everyone
it's
else
scary at 18,
everyone else
isn't
in the
it?
pub having a great time, I'm there sliding on the floor in hysterics. I didn't think people cried like that. You know, like the slid on the
But you did.
Oh, I did, yeah. Yeah. And then I got myself together and just went out.
Okay. And who did you tell, or did you keep it to yourself for a while?
So I told my friend Laura, who I went to Wexford with.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because like she was practically fucking in the room. Like she may as well have been.
Yeah.
She was in another room with the mate, but I don't know what happened to him. Stage fright or something. But anyway. So
his name? His name and shame.
Yeah. And at such a young age too. Okay, so anyway. So I told her, and she kind of, just for various different reasons, like she would have been a good person to tell. And then I kind of I kept it to myself for a good bit after that. Like, so she knew, so God love her, like she kind of became, I wouldn't really even say confidant because I don't know how much I was actually talking to her.
Yeah.
I think I started to shut down a bit. So she'd try and call in for me or whatever, and I just kind of like, I'm not coming out or whatever, and wouldn't ask her in, and I did a lot of that. I'd be the kind of person, I obviously tried to get better as I've gotten older, but if I have like a problem or a crisis, I am a shut down person.
Oh God, I'm like that too. So
It's really
like that.
bad, isn't it?
It's really bad. And I get given out to by my people around me for being like that. I just don't like, it's almost like I prefer to think I can deal with it myself and not
I don't know what
talk
it is.
about my feeling. I don't know what it is.
Or it's in a protective thing, or if it's like I have to figure out this thing first before I start talking to other people.
Yeah, but meanwhile you're making everyone's life miserable because you're going around the big face on you like a smacked arse. Yeah.
And you're not
yourself.
fully engaged with any conversations because you're just like, people are like, did you hear what I said? And you're like, what? Yeah, no, sorry, what? You're totally off in your own little world. So I did that for a good while, and then I wrote my mum a letter. Now, it felt like a lifetime, but I'd say it was probably like only my 2.5 months or something. Like I found out very quickly that I was pregnant and whatever, because I just, you
knew.
I just knew.
Yeah.
And so I wrote my mum a letter and I left it on the table and I
Legged
it off to my friend Laura's house again, like the poor girl, fucking hell. And I let my mum find the letter. So then once they knew, then you see, then it becomes real. Then you kind of start going about doctors and, plans and what are we going to do and whatever. So I think that was another part of it, maybe why I had to like kind of wait and prepare myself to tell them.
Yeah.
Because then it does become real,
Yeah.
And then I think I gradually told friends, and the school had to be told.
And how did they take it? Because I remember in my school a couple of girls, maybe one getting pregnant, and it was
so
it was difficult for them. It was difficult. Like the school didn't know how to cope.
So my mom was like, my mom and dad, but I suppose my mom was more like, taking action like on the ground, I suppose, like, because like she's your mom or whatever. She's like, we'll have to tell the school. The school will have to know. She's like, even for insurance reasons. So she made an appointment with the principal. It was quite dolly at that stage, because when we went in, she said, well, you're not the first and you won't be the last.
Oh, right, okay.
And then that was it. And just like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. And she said, you can wear your tracksuit bottoms when your skirt gets too small. Next.
Oh my God.
So I think my poor mother was like looking for some sort of like Christian compassion or something. You know what I mean?
Your tracksuit bottoms.
And it was very like, it was very business, like matter of fact. And I think she, you know what I mean? Or you know the way like with your GP, you want the perfect level of professionalism.
Yeah.
But I think she was just looking for a little bit more compassion or whatever. And then I was wearing tracksuit bottoms in the common area of the school. And we're saying, you there, why are you wearing tracksuit bottoms? And I was like, do you remember like I was with my mum and we said about what are you talking? Speak up. And I was like, well, you said like whatever the tracksuit bottoms. Oh yes, you. Oh yeah. Okay, fine. As you were, yeah. And obviously everyone's heads are like, fucking hell, see that? Is that my door?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did you feel as if all eyes were on you as well? Because it is a bit like back then. I think nowadays a little bit different, but that's what, 18, 19 years ago?
19 years ago. Yeah,
so,
defo felt. Now, there was another girl in my year who was pregnant, but I just feel like I wonder how she got on, but she's still with the guy.
Okay.
And I just felt like she was kind of like older and she'd been with him for years and everyone kind of knew that she was with him, and do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas mine was just like, I think people were like, Emma Doran's pregnant? What the fuck happened there? Because it wasn't like, I feel like people either think it happens to the person that's like practically married to the fella already, is a massive fucking bike. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's, do you know what I mean? When you're in an all-girls school, this is the chat.
I know, yeah.
Or it's somebody who you're like, fucking hell, how is she going to get through that? She's not the full whack.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like that book you had to do in school on Trial, where it's like some like girls being taken advantage of.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean?
That.
They're kind of like the three people it happens to.
Yeah.
So when it happened to me, I think a lot of people were like, fuck, everyone, look alert. It happened to Emma Doran, it can happen to any of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we were like, oh yeah. I'd say I was definitely like a tale of caution for a lot of people. So,
and was there ever any, like, I mean, I suppose even 19, 20 years ago, people would normally have had their baby and brought it up themselves. Was there ever any talk about adoption or anything like that for you? Or?
No. Well, like I personally, that wouldn't have been on my like, well, obviously like my radar, but it wouldn't have been something that I would have been asking about or wanting to do or whatever. Now we did go to Cora. So I think initially, like my mom kind of was like in action plan, and like, you know, we're kind of like, we're going, well, let's look at like, you know, the practical things that need to be done. Like we'll need to go to the doctor and you get like a checkup, and we need to do this and whatever. I went to Cora. I can't remember what the dealio is or what that stands for, but it's some sort of Catholic thing.
It's a Catholic organisation for, I suppose, unplanned pregnancies, isn't it?
Yes.
And they give you advice. But
They give you advice, and
Catholic advice, though. It's
Catholic advice,
But I
which-
do think that they did do, and maybe they still do, I'm not even sure if they're still around now, but they did do post-abortion counselling for people that had gone to England, say.
Okay.
And so they tried, I think, to be...
yeah.
To be
I just-
inclusive.
I found it weird because, like, say, when I was growing up, like, my mum wouldn't have been a practicing Catholic anyway. She would have been one of the few mas that I'd be like, I'm not getting communion. See you later. Like,
Yeah.
she, you know. So I was like, okay, go, ma'am. So then we went off to this place. I was just like, what the fuck is this? But maybe there probably wasn't much
I don't think
option
there was
at the
much
time.
options,
She's probably
no.
just like scrambling, saying, is there anywhere that could be good or of assistance?
There wasn't much options. I don't
No,
think.
we went there with the door. The door was opened by like a small little nunny character. Scaldy biscuits. First off, I mean, look, girls going through a crisis pregnancy,
You need-
get a few Kit Kats or fucking
No
something.
ginger nuts, like.
Garibaldi's.
Yeah.
No, not the time or the place. And I think she basically asked me. She was like, so. She was like, what you want to do? I was like, I don't want to do any of it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay. Well, you know where we are. Bye.
Okay.
And that was kind of it, like, you
So
know
you're
what I
kind of left
mean?
to deal with it by yourself.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. She's like, you know, you get a few pamphlets or whatever. And she's like, have you thought about adoption maybe? I don't want to do adoption.
Yeah.
Like anything. And you have a baby? I don't have a baby. You know, like none of it.
Yeah.
None of it. Like, I don't want to do any. I just wanted someone to just go, la la la. Gone.
Magic wand. Courtine never happened.
Courtine never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm not talking about someone to like go, you know, abortion is
No,
now
yeah.
available to you. Boom. I'm just talking about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just like none of it, because that wouldn't have worked for me either. Do you know what I mean? So shit biscuits, no advice. I was like, and I suppose her role wasn't to give me advice. It was probably there to let me talk or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Kind of questions. And I was just like,
Shit.
yeah. I was like, I'm shit, you're shit, this is all shit. Can we all just do a pack suicide? That's what I wanted. But get some good biscuits first. So they're like, no. So, yeah. But I think it did get better over time. I think it's just the initial shit show. But now I know for a lot of people, when they first find out they're pregnant in the early stages, even if it's like, you know, all planned or whatever, it can be a bit of a shit show at the start.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
So, like, obviously not that kind of shit show, but no, it did get better, defo. And, you know, I told friends and people knew, and but I did definitely check out of like being what would you say? But I kind of felt like an alien, I suppose, because I
Okay.
couldn't really connect with what my friends were doing, and I didn't really want to talk to them about what I was doing. It's like I wasn't going to be getting ready for the devs. I wasn't going to be going on a 6-year holiday. The plan was to go to college, but you know, in my mind, I'm kind of like, well, I don't really know if that's gonna end up happening or whatever. And
did you get big with the pregnancy? Because you know the way the younger girls can conceal it for an awful long time, or they look very
Yes.
small for a long time.
yeah, I'd say up to about 5.5 months.
Yeah.
Probably couldn't see it. And I mean, those uniforms are just, I mean, it's like they're designed to hide pregnancies. Like,
Maybe that's the origin of them.
they're practically maternity wear. Like when you know, we had the thing on the skirt that could be adjusted to like so many different sizes. You
Yeah.
basically had a size 8 and 18 skirt, like
In the
whatever you
one.
fancied. So I
Yeah.
was like, is this maternity wear already? But no, I think about 5.5 months. Once it would get to 6, I think you're around 6, your bump changes shape where it's
Yeah.
like there's no denying that's a pregnancy bump.
Yeah.
Because I remember one of the girls who like say wouldn't have been like in my, you know, not my core people or like my best, but like really good mates, you know, like you have a few classes with her and you'd be good friends, whatever. But she only would have found out later when I was kind of at the 5.5 months.
Yeah.
And she's like, I honestly, I just thought you'd put on weight. But even at the time, I was like, cheeky fucking bitch, thought I'd put on weight. It's like, yeah, like now I'm like, oh, of course, you were like 5.5 months pregnant. You did look a bit different. Like, of course you had to. Yeah, but like, sure, the head. Can you imagine the head when I'm pregnant?
Oh my God. Yeah. Massive. And did you have to have a cesarean with all those massive heads?
No.
Oh, right.
No, I did
big
get
vagina on you. So,
I did. Yeah, well,
you show me that when you show me your ginger fuse.
Yeah, we'll do the whole thing. I did get a little first time.
Little episiotomy.
Yeah, and I remember my friends being always like, "Oh my God, fucking hell!" Oh my, and I was like, "It's fine." I was like, "It's the way people talk about it, like it's anything. It's nothing."
Yeah.
At the time, like it's. I mean. You know what I mean? Your whole body is broken. I'll just break your baby finger. Cool.
I know, yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Like,
and did you deliver okay? And it was all good. Like, apparently, the younger you are, the easier it is anyway. That's they say.
Yeah,
ideal age is probably 18 to have babies, you know.
It was not long, or they've all been about, all my labours have all been about like 11 to 14 hours. They're all around that length. It's all gas and air.
Yeah.
And no forceps, no. You see, because I got it into my head. My mom said to me, hippy dipping nurse that she is, she's like, if you get an epidural, she was like, there is a possibility that it slows down your labour. And she's like, you're in less control because you can't feel your contractions then and when you should or shouldn't push. And she's like, there's more likelihood of you having more intervention. So I was like, okay. And I hated the idea of a catheter.
Oh, yeah.
So I just was like, not for me. Now I did ask for it, obviously, but you know the way you get to a point where you're too far gone.
The transition stage, you're like, give it to me.
Yeah, when you're, I think it's kind of like when you're about like 7 or, 7 or 8 or something like that. Like really, like you're on the home stretch. They're like, don't bother. Like,
yeah.
So, and they were all fairly similar. Labour. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Heart, water's always broken.
For you? Okay.
Yeah, always, yeah. And yeah, no forceps or suction or
that's great.
Any of that. So
my mum's a hippy dippy nurse as well. She had me on that track too, yeah. But she's a midwife as well, so yeah. So,
okay.
I loved the gas and air though. Like I was when I had the gas and air,
nice, isn't it?
Oh, so good. Like you'd love just to have that, just to, carry it around with you.
You get in a good rhythm of that.
Oh. I was. And
I vape now constantly. Go figure. It's the same thing.
Do you know what? But the gas air is brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah,
I was like.
They say some people don't like it, don't they? Or it
makes them feel a bit sick or something. No, I was like, give me more. And I was coming out with all kinds of baloney when I'm actually embarrassed when I think about this stuff. But I'm sure they've seen and heard it all. But how did you cope with a newborn baby then at that age? And did you go to college? I think you did.
Yeah, I went. So I had my daughter in May, and then I did the Leaving Cert then, in like 13 days. So I was a bit mad.
God.
So basically, I brought her home. Now I brought when I think of just how sad the whole thing is, like that period of it, right?
Yeah.
Or like, I was very focused. I didn't want to have to repeat my leaving. I was going to really do my best in all aspects of what was going on in my life, if you know what I mean. Like I was very much I was focused. There were still a few tears, but you know what I mean? We kind of it's action mode now. Let's get it done or whatever. So I was going off to Hollis Street with a little my little bag, and I'd have my book, my novel and stuff in the bag.
Oh, the novel for the Leaving Cert. When you think about it, when you think about
sad,
because you're a baby then. Like when you think of your daughter now, she's a baby to you now, and you think that was you then.
I just think you should, the way if a friend is packing their bag for hospital, you'd be making sure that there's not this will be nice for you to have after you've had a baby. And of course, all that stuff was in my bag, but that's not what my focus was.
Yeah.
My focus was like, just bring the book in case you get a chance, whatever. And I was annoyed that I gone a couple of days over, and I was like, I have my leaving cert to do. Like, I'm saying this to them on the holiday, and she's like, don't worry, there's been plenty of people that have done their leaving cert in here. Like, if you need to, that's all set up. I was like, I'm not doing my leaving cert in like fucking here. That means I'd be like well overdue. I'd just be like, you're mental. And I'm sure she's looking at me going, you're fucking mental. But then, so when I came home, what was the deal? Yeah, I think it was like 13. I had her, and then it was 13 days later, the leaving cert was going to start.
Were you not knackered?
Yeah, it was. And then I think what we did was my mum or dad, I think, took it in turns, and they'd be with her downstairs. But then, like, the way you're for like night feeds, but the way you're programmed to kind of hear that. So I kind of wake up, and then I felt incredibly like protective and guilty, and like, no, I'll take her, and So
you've all that normal mum stuff, but you're 18.
Yeah. So I didn't do any study really once I got home. I might look over something for like 20 minutes, half an hour, but not actual like going, I certainly wasn't going upstairs to study for like 3-4 hours. And once you get over the first, I can't remember what it is, but like the first few days of the leaving cert are real full on.
English, Irish, maths.
Yeah. And then it kind of all, because I did like stupid subjects like classical studies and stuff. It's like, that's at the end of the month. Like, Jesus Christ, I'll be waiting along. And I did Spanish.
2 months to do the leaving cert.
Yeah, all this kind of thing. So that was all hard. But in terms of like the motherhood part of it, I did definitely like take to that. I enjoyed, did I? Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I liked it. Yeah. And I was afraid of, I had like babysat. I had these 3 boys that I babysat for like not, like nonstop. But the youngest that I met, the youngest when he was like a year. Yeah. Like in terms of like baby, I was like worried about holding a baby. Yeah. But sure, I was grand. Like, the way you're just like, oh, she looks huge to me. Like, she looks absolutely massive. She's just come out and we're like, oh my God. And then we just, I got the leaving cert done. And then I just spent the summer like walking like a mad bitch, like loads of new mothers do. Just have that mantra in your head of like, I don't want to be a fat bitch. Don't want to be a fat bitch. You know what I mean? Just like obsessed. Yeah. And
was that hard for you actually, the change in your body after having a baby? Because, it affects different women in different ways. Yes. And certainly when you're young and if it happens.
Yeah, do you know what? It really was, because I think that was one thing that I really struggled with. And like, I really didn't want stretch marks, and I got stretch marks. And I was really upset about that. I'd come downstairs and I'd pull up my top to my mum. I'm like, they're not fading. They're not, and she'd be like, they will. She's like, they will fade. And I thought I'd be fine because she never got like stretch marks on her stomach. But I think it was just because I was so young. Yeah. And, because I'm not really even like going through puberty and stuff, never really got stretch marks. Okay. I might have had like the odd 1 or 2, but I wouldn't have had many. Yeah. So that when I started getting them when I was like maybe about 7, like maybe 6.5, 7 months pregnant. I was just like, no. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because I was like, what have I got now? I didn't have tits, tiny, minuscule tits. I had ginger pubes. Crop tops is my only thing that I had going for me. And now that was fucked. I was just like, and I have a kid as well. I was just like, how am I ever going to get
down the list?
How am I ever going to get my hole again? I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So it was hard. I wasn't worried about like my vagina at all, because I was like, I'm young enough. I was like,
oh yes,
do you know what I mean? I wasn't, the way people tell me, oh my God, like big bucket gee. I wasn't worried about any of that.
I've never heard the expression big bucket gee. I have heard the expression like a hippo's yawn.
Yeah, oh yeah. But or whistling in the wind. You know, a gee that whistles in the wind. But
the queefer.
Yeah, she's walking the kids up to school. She's like whistling gee. But no, I wasn't worried about that, but stretch marks, sure, look, isn't that always the thing? We all just find a thing to fucking hone in on. Yeah. I was like, those stretch marks. Bio oil.
They torment you.
Oh my God. I should have had shares in bio oil. Like, I was fucking slipping down the banisters with so much fucking bio oil on myself. That was the big buzz at the time.
I know.
I think it just
and
came
people
out.
don't realise like stretch marks just don't go away. Like I mean,
No.
they're there.
And it was like, bio oil was expensive back in the day.
Yeah, there was no Aldi version of bio
But
oil.
I could, do you know what, even with something like that I really wanted to like get rid of, I can never keep those things up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Because at the end of the day, you do just have to fucking get on with it.
Yeah.
But I think I just had this thing of like that somebody, you're going to be like getting your hole with somebody. And I'm like, oh my God, sorry, you've stretch marks. Jesus Christ, that's completely fucking, I can't deal with that.
Oh my God, I'm just not going to get an erection with that. Yeah, I know. But people, look, guys don't care.
Nobody cares about anything.
And women.
And I don't, do you know what I mean? Like, I know I have to, after this podcast, completely strip myself nude and show you every part of my body.
I'm dying to see everything. I'm sure you're gorgeous. But do you care anymore about these stretch marks or no?
No. I mean, if somebody said to me, actually, do you know, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because if somebody said to me, do you want us to do something about, which they have in the past, you know, like, we'll
give you a free tummy tuck.
I wouldn't get a tummy tuck now.
Right.
For me now, I just feel like I wouldn't get surgery. But if they had some new laser, whatever, or something, I'd nearly be in two minds in a way, because now don't get me wrong, I've had like Botox. I'm getting more on Friday lashing into me, but I just feel like
I don't have Botox. Can you tell?
give me a frown.
Okay, I'm really angry.
Frown.
I'm really angry now. Look.
Yeah. But there's something about I don't know. It's kind of one of these stupid things that doesn't exist. Like how would younger Emma feel if I got rid of those stretch marks? Younger Emma would probably be fucking delighted.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird one where, I mean, I'm not going to. Who's going to see it? Like nobody's going to. Well, me fella and me, and you know, but. I don't know. I feel like it's a thing I should probably accept without leaving it as it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, like as if that would be I don't know, 100% acceptance of who you are if you could just leave them.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually care about my face. It's just because I do bits and bobs. So I'm like, oh, it would look better with less wrinkles.
Yeah.
But really, I'm not that attached. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do. I understand
wouldn't
that.
care. But I feel like maybe I should let stretch marks just be and live their life.
I know some women say, like when they're trying to, I suppose, accept them and be, you know, for what they are, they're like their war wounds, or, you know, that's the tapestry of their body after having babies type thing. So my body has been through so much and these are my war wounds afterwards and things like that. So, but
it's not even that, like, it's not even that thing. And it's not even like, I 100% there is not, and if there is, fucking message me. I'm not leading up to a black and white post on Instagram of like fucking whatever. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'll get the likes by the videos. I'm grand.
Yeah.
You know, and like, but I just feel like for myself, I mean, if people want the black and white picture with the fucking bits out, I'll do it.
I think I want that.
How much?
I want it. But you need to grow your pubes first.
But I'm talking about, I'd rather pubes out. But I'm talking about like real acceptance. Because to me, like, that's still curated.
Yeah.
You know, like.
You mean like standing in front of the camera and no airbrushing and no beautiful kind of background or no harsh lighting. You mean Penny's style lighting where you can see every wrinkle and every I hear you.
Those black and white pictures are still they still are beautiful.
Well, they're artful, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
I want bad. Actually, Jamie Lee Curtis did one a few years ago where she just had it was like a video and they did pictures. I don't know what it was for or what it was, but I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Just like a real ordinary bra, real ordinary knickers, and just like standing, you know, like the normal stance of somebody, like not a pose stand, and was just like, this is my normal body. Yeah. Gorgeous body, but just real, you know, like the way a real, and that's nothing to do with size. That's just how, you know what I'm saying? Like a real body looks in real light and
of course.
In a real way.
Because
you've got you have the sock marks on your leg and you know what I mean?
And your toe isn't pointed forward to make the leg look longer or whatever.
I want to see that the sock elastic on your leg. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
Let's be brave about that.
I think so.
I'll do a black and white picture of the sock elastic.
I think
on
you
my
should.
leg. Yeah.
I'll definitely like it, and I won't like it 2 months after you post it, just because I want you on my podcast.
Yeah. No, good. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I just think it's interesting that you've come. You know, like it is like your story about having a baby young and that is just. You know, it's tough, isn't it? It's like, but
yeah, it is tough, but I think becoming a parent is tough.
Yeah.
But I as well, like, I mean, I was lucky that I had a great family, and like obviously, like my mom and dad were fantastic, but like a lot of other people are around as well.
Yeah.
So I think I just think now, like if you have a teenager or, you know, a child or an adult child or whatever, like how you support that situation is monumental to the outcome.
Yeah.
So no one in my house is like, oh, well, you won't go to college.
Yeah.
Nobody in school thought I'd be doing the Leaving Cert.
Okay.
And not out of badness.
Just.
But they were like, well, she's due her baby the end of May. She's not going to. How would she do her Leaving Cert?
Whereas was it even discussed in your house? It was just like, that was it. It was happening and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And your 2 older brothers, how were they? Were they just slagging you?
How are they? So they're like 18 months apart in age, and then there's like a 5-year gap, and then there's me.
Okay.
So I'm like, I would have been worried to tell my dad, like, I have to tell Dad. I would have been worried, and I would have been worried about them finding out.
Okay.
So I suppose I always think like it's kind of hard to describe them as people. One of them was like, do you want me to go and kick the head off him? And I was like, no, it's fine. And then the other one was like, well, I'm your big brother and I'll always love you.
Oh.
And I was like, but yeah, they were great. I think one of them moved out while I was pregnant. He was like, you know, buying a house and like, you know, future's bright kind of fucking stuff. And he'd be like leaving to go meet his girlfriend. He's like, do you want a Chinese? Do you want a Chinese? Yeah, I might get a Chinese actually. Yeah, that might be nice. And then the other brother, what was he doing? He was at home. So it was probably a bit more annoying for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'd say it was very Emma focused. So it wasn't, surprisingly, not long after I had Ella, he
moved out. He's got her.
But we all moved out. I have a feeling we all moved out in our early 20s.
Okay.
You know what I mean? None of us really. Now, we all moved so close to our parents, but we all kind of got out of the house fairly lively.
Yeah, okay.
And all, you know, go back there all the time.
Yeah.
Raid the presses and all that.
Drop the kids back.
Yeah.
I always do that too. I go in and look in the fridge. Is that just a thing? I always go in and look in the fridge and pick it.
I want to look at there. It's kind of, sorry, I keep hitting the mic. It's kind of like when you go to the supermarket and you look in other people's trolleys.
Yeah.
You just kind of want to see, or I want to see if they're switching it up. Like, oh, okay, we're getting that now. Don't remember that when I lived here.
Yeah.
You know, I'll always look in their fridge,
Yeah.
See what's going on. But they, you know, they were very good, and I had aunts and, you know, a lot of really good people around me. So
a good support network is so important.
Yeah.
It's great. It's been great talking to you. It's been fab.
Are you going to have to edit this loads now?
I'm not editing any. I'm just throwing it all out. Are you happy for me to throw it all out?
Yeah. I was like, I waffled a lot, but I suppose
I loved it. But that's what it
isn't
is. Because I just think that if you cut a podcast short when someone's mid-flow, then you don't get to talk about all the things that you wanted to. And I think that sometimes when you meander and allow people to meander, you fall into different topics of conversation.
I know what you mean. And then it makes more sense of how they got to, well, how did they end up talking about that? Or, I know. Yeah.
No, I'm not editing any of it. It's all gone out.
All right.
But I would like to ask you my 2 questions that I ask everyone at the end.
I looked at these now, but you'll have to remind me. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give young people today? And what is the meaning of life?
Okay, yeah. So what advice would I give young people today? Well, like, I'd really give them absolutely none, because it's none of my business, is what I really think.
Okay.
I wouldn't really give them advice. But I would just be like, just live your life. Like, just do whatever you want to do. I wouldn't give them any advice, really.
Fab.
Because I just don't think, even with my daughter, I'd be very reluctant to give advice. I'd say, well, look, this is what I did and it worked out well. So but like, you do you. So yeah, but I do give advice, but I label it as something else.
Well, maybe when it comes to your own kids, it's different.
Yeah.
Do you know that kind of way? But I get what you mean.
I know I give people unsolicited advice all the time, but yeah, I don't. Why would I? No, I give them. Yeah, I actually do. I'm actually one of those real annoying people. They're like, I didn't want advice. I just wanted you to listen, which I'm trying to get better at. No, but it is. I think it all would always just be just like live your life like no one cares. Not in a bad way, but
yeah,
do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And what was the other one? The meaning of life.
Yeah.
The meaning of life. The meaning of life. I think the meaning of life is to make it your own. So to have your own life, the life that you want in whatever way that looks. Yeah.
That's
lovely.
I think
that's it.
Yeah, that's lovely.
You don't have to do anything or not do anything. I think it's just all work. Well, it's all just busy work, isn't it, really? I mean, we're all just filling the hours until we die and we don't really know when that's going to be. So you might as well try and like construct a life that you enjoy and that you're happy with and represents you and is authentic to who you are. And I think that's what we all are trying to do, aren't we?
I think so.
Yeah. I have to hear other people's answers now. I have to go back.
Everyone's
and
so
listen.
different.
Are they? Yeah.
Everyone is so different. It's unreal, actually.
Yeah.
That's why I asked them, because people have so many different takes on it, and so many different takes on giving advice, and then so many different takes on the meaning of life. But I think a lot of people are of the view that life is just for living, and
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what I think is. What I want my life to be is completely different to what someone else wants their life to be.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Sorry, I just get sidetracked about like I just started thinking of like some people their life is like going dogging and stuff. You know what I mean? I was like, don't bring that up. No, I've said
that's
it.
okay. That's okay.
But you know what I mean? For some people,
and do you want to explain what dogging is for people that don't know what dogging is? Just maybe that'd be a nice outro.
Yeah. So dogging is when people go to a secluded location. It doesn't have to be up. I mean, when I think of dogging, I think like hellfire up the mountains, but it doesn't have to be.
I thought you were going to say when I was dogging.
Oh yeah. I would love to go for a watch.
Yeah,
I'd love. There
are people that do that. They're like
voyeurs, kind of just they just
go
watch.
To watch. Yeah.
But you go and have sex. Well, people watch.
Yeah.
But it can be someone that you met there, or it can be like you and your partner go dogging.
Yeah.
But you do a kind of, I suppose, on the hood of a car is kind of the usual thing, isn't it?
Yeah, down Phoenix Park late at night, isn't it?
Yeah. Or on the M50 sometimes.
Have you ever seen anyone do it?
Have
you?
Yeah, on a thingy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was two cars, a truck, like a big truck.
Okay.
And there was a couple on the hood of the first car, like the middle car. What was that?
And is that, so what exit was that? Because I wouldn't mind. If it's like a well-known dogging place and you want a voyeur.
But it was quite late, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And there wasn't many people on the road. So I kind of got a bit of a look, but not enough to I'd kind of only seen it and copped what it was and I was gone, you know what I mean? But yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So,
and I didn't see anyone filming or anything. Or I didn't really see I didn't see anyone looking, but I saw a couple doing something on the hood of a car.
Okay. And then I wonder how, so you were answering what is the meaning of life there, and then I'm just wondering what went on in your brain.
Well, I suppose
on the out, to be thinking you're talking about the meaning of life, and then you were like,
no, do you know how I got there? I got there basically because I was like, I'm always like, I never want, or I can't say the meaning of life is family, because for some people it's not.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's completely okay. Or you know the way like you get very, you might, in your little bubble of kind of like, very like, you know, traditional kind of like, you know, kids and whatever.
Yeah.
But then for other people, that's not the goal, and
Yeah.
that's okay. You know, there's, you know, I just hate that kind of judgment thing of like, well, she's just riding rings around herself, and like, yeah, maybe that's what she wants to do. Like,
Yeah, so the meaning of some people's lives can be to do that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay, so I was just
Yeah.
wondering what made your brain go from what you were saying.
yeah, the
to
meaning of
dogging,
life to
being
dogging. I know it's not like a
You are a dark person.
yeah, I know.
And we've just
And why
circled.
am I so concerned about like the fucking dogging community? Oh, I don't want to alienate them. I don't want to alienate them. Like that's.
We've just circled right back to the very beginning of the podcast where I was asking you about comedians and their,
I know.
you know, what went into them. Emma, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Mel.
Thanks for giving me your time. Thanks a million.